Peppa Pig and George go to the Eco Park.
It was a beautiful Saturday morning, and the sun was high in the sky, perfectly lighting up the pig family's house. Peppa and George were playing in the living room when Mommy Pig entered with a big smile and told them,
"Kids, I have great news. We're going on a trip to the Eco Park, and we'll even camp there overnight. I've already arranged everything with the park team."
Peppa and George were thrilled and jumped with joy, thinking about how fun it would be to visit a park. They were also very curious. Peppa then asked her mom,
Yay! What are we going to do there, Mommy?
We'll get in touch with nature, learn how to take care of our planet, and at night, we'll see a sky full of stars.
Mommy Pig said as she went to the table organizing the items they'd need for the trip. Peppa and George helped with the preparations, and once everything was packed, Mommy Pig explained,
We need to prepare a few things. How about we bring reusable water bottles and cloth bags to avoid plastic?
Sure, Mommy. Can we bring some fruit for snacks?
asked little George. Hearing this, Mommy Pig responded with satisfaction.
Of course, George. All the fruits we eat come from plants, so we're already learning how important nature is, even for our food.
That's awesome, Mommy. It'll be so cool, especially since Madame Gazelle asked us to make posters about the environment at school.
Peppa said this, smiling at her mom as she finished packing her things to get ready for the trip. Nature. Before leaving for the Eco Park, Peppa and George went to the family garden, looking at the plants and thinking about how exciting it would be to see many more plants and trees. Seeing this, Mommy Pig smiled and said to them,
All right, kids, everything's ready. It's time to head to the park. And along the way, you'll get to start seeing nature through the trees along the roadside.
Already in the car, Peppa and George did as their mom suggested and watched the trees passing by. Then a little question popped into George's mind and he asked Mommy Pig,
Mommy, did you plant those trees?
Oh, sweetie, most of those trees weren't planted by me or Daddy Pig. They were planted by Mother Nature herself. Planting trees is a fantastic way to help the environment. Each tree we plant makes a big difference. Watering plants and making sure no litter is left on the ground are also wonderful ways to keep nature clean.
Mommy, I understand we should take care of trees, nature, and animals too. But why can't they take care of themselves? Why do they need us?
Peppa asked next. Mommy Pig looked at the kids, pleased with their curiosity. It was a sign they were really thinking about the topic and taking it seriously. She decided to explain a bit more about what it all meant and why they should learn about it.
Oh, darlings, the environment is a complex system, and everything works together, including us, which is why we're responsible for it. Just like we use fruits and vegetables from nature for food, we need to give back and care for the plants that may not feed us directly, but provide food, homes, and safety for animals like birds, frogs, and insects. We're all part of this same planet, so taking care of it benefits everyone.
The children understood what Mommy Pig told them and nodded, showing they got the message. The park. Peppa and her family finally arrived at the park. Along with the pig family, many other people were also at the park that day. The park guide was none other than Miss Rabbit. It's always her. Today, she was working at the Eco Park and responsible for welcoming visitors at the entrance. She approached them cheerfully and said to Peppa and her family,
Hello, pig family. Welcome to our eco park. Today, I'll be your guide and will take everyone to the campsite. Along the way, we'll walk through nature and you'll have the chance to see many animals and amazing things. Today, we're going to learn how to plant trees and the importance of nature. To get started, we'll go for a walk through the park. But remember, you should always be with someone who knows the park. And for children, that means always being with Mommy or Daddy. Never alone. Ready for an amazing adventure? Let's go.
Everyone followed Miss Rabbit, admiring the beauty of nature. During the walk, Peppa and George observed different plants and animals, amazed by all the beauty. They saw butterflies, worms, and even some birds they hadn't seen before. Peppa then asked the park guide,
Miss Rabbit, I saw the worms, and then I saw the bird eating the worm. Are they friends?
Actually, Peppa, the bird you saw was looking for food. The worm was food for the baby birds. Every animal has an important role in the ecosystem. Protecting nature helps everyone. When birds search for food, they drop seeds that grow into other trees and flowers, and butterflies help pollinate these plants to keep them strong.
Just like Daddy Pig and I feed you to make you big and strong?
Mommy Pig added, looking at her children, who laughed as they looked around filled with wonder. Recycling and reforestation. After this, the group arrived at a spot in the park where a very important lesson was given: recycling. Miss Rabbit then addressed everyone.
All right, everyone. Now we've reached a crucial part of our tour. We're going to learn about recycling. What do you think we should do with these materials?
Peppa eagerly raised her hand and answered, with George's help.
We can separate the paper from the plastic. And the glass too.
Exactly. Recycling helps reduce waste and protect the environment. Each of you can make a difference right at home.
After learning about proper waste separation and understanding its importance for the planet and ecology, they continued their day. It had been an amazing day indeed. Everyone learned so much about recycling and how it helps care for nature. But as the sun started to set, the whole group reached a clearing. Everyone set up their tents to rest for the next day. At night, they could all hear the sounds of nature and see the sky glowing with stars. The pig family even made a campfire and enjoyed a meal. That night, Peppa and George slept very close to nature. The next morning, the sun shone and the birds sang. Peppa and George woke up excited in their tents. Mommy Pig was already preparing breakfast, and Peppa asked her excitedly,
Mommy, what are we going to do today?
Today, we're going to learn even more about how to plant trees and other plants.
The group was then guided by Miss Rabbit to an area where the children could plant their own trees, and each received a seedling. As everyone carefully took their seeds and seedlings, Mommy Pig said to her children,
Let's plant with lots of love, kids. Remember to water them and take care of them.
The children eagerly dug holes and planted the seedlings. Mommy Pig watched, proud, as she helped them plant some of the trees. It didn't take long for them to finish planting several seedlings.
I promise to take care of my tree.
Me too. Let's do it together,
said George and Peppa immediately afterward. Peppa and George smiled, happy to have learned so many things they hadn't known before. The day came to an end, and the pig family said goodbye to the park. Everyone was happy and full of new ideas. Peppa, George, and Mommy Pig were in the car, heading home after the trip. The children were excited, chatting about everything they had learned. Peppa couldn't stop thinking about all the cool things she and George did at the park and how fun it was to help take care of the planet. At school. As soon as they got home, Peppa and George sat down with pencils and paper ready to make a poster. They quickly started making various beautiful and colorful posters for school since it was Peppa's homework.
Let's draw trees, plants, and animals. Everything we learned at the Eco Park with Miss Rabbit's help, George. Madam Gazelle is definitely going to like it a lot.
Mommy Pig entered the room with a smile hearing what Peppa said and thought it was a wonderful idea. The next day, Peppa and George arrived at school carrying their poster. Their teacher, Madame Gazelle, looked on with interest and began her lesson by saying,
Children, last week I gave you a homework assignment to create posters about something new you learned and would like to share with everyone. And I can see Peppa and George brought a lovely poster. Come on up, kids. You'll be the first.
Peppa and her brother presented the poster to the class, and Peppa told her classmates,
This is our poster. Here are some tips on recycling and planting trees. We learned this over the weekend when we went with our parents to the Eco Park. We even camped out in tents and lit a campfire. George and I thought it was amazing to learn how to care for nature and understand how important it is for everyone on the planet. It's so much fun to help nature.
Excellent job, kids. Helping the environment is something each of us should do because every one of us can make a difference for a better world. Remember, every small action counts. Never underestimate the power you have to make a difference,
Madame Gazelle said. The students eagerly raised their hands, asking questions about how each of them could help care for nature. The teacher smiled, pleased with the class's enthusiasm, and spent the rest of the morning explaining various interesting things with Peppa and George's help. Later, it was time for recess. Peppa, George, and their friends were out in the schoolyard, picking up litter and planting flowers. Madame Gazelle looked on with satisfaction, thinking about how well the children were doing. After a productive day, the children sat on a bench, admiring the flowers they had planted themselves and seeing how beautiful they were. Then, Peppa said joyfully, looking at everyone,
We've learned that everyone can help, and together, we can make our world a better place.
After a day filled with activities, Peppa and her friends said goodbye to their classmates. Everyone looked happy and fulfilled with what they had learned and done. And Madame Gazelle then spoke to her students.
Congratulations, everyone. You did a wonderful job during Sustainability Week. Let's keep taking care of our planet every day.
The children waved goodbye to their teacher, met their parents, and went home. In the car, Peppa and George were excited telling Mommy Pig everything they did at school.
Mommy, it was so much fun. We helped all our classmates do things similar to what we learned at the Eco Park, only in the schoolyard. Now I understand that we can always do something good for nature, wherever we are.
Mommy Pig smiled, proud of her children, and agreed with everything Peppa said.
I'm so happy you enjoyed the week. Remember to keep practicing what you've learned.
George pointed to a flock of birds flying overhead, realizing that birds need trees for their nests and protection. When they arrived home, the Pig family got out of the car, and Peppa, George, and Mommy Pig headed to the garden surrounded by plants and flowers. Looking at the beautiful plants and flowers, Mommy Pig turned to her daughter and proudly said,
I'm so proud of you. Remember, every small action counts toward a more sustainable future. Let's make our world a better place together.
Peppa and George hugged each other, happy to be with their mother and knowing they were doing the right thing by helping the environment and creating a brighter future for everyone. These were indeed special days for the Pig family, especially for Peppa and George. They learned the importance of helping nature, recycling, and planting trees and plants. It made everything even more beautiful, and each of us can do the same with our family and friends. Now it's time for the Pig family to rest, but Peppa and her friends' adventures never stop. Until the next story, where we'll discover new things and have fun together again. Bye-bye, my loves. So, if you enjoy Peppa's stories and want to keep up with all the new adventures, subscribe to the channel and don't miss a single video. Here are 2 more super fun videos for you to watch now, and enjoy even more with Peppa and her friends. See you soon.